Good morning, beautiful people. How are we this morning on this beautiful Sunday in Australia and whatever it is there, all the other parts of the world? I just wanted to say good morning, and it's a quick video. Just wanted to catch up and talk about our beautiful Daintree Dreamtime Walk we had. It was actually at Mossman Gorge, which is the gateway to the 180 million year old rainforest. You know, that's all. But Daintree, only 180 million years old. It's the oldest rainforest in the world. And we did go to Daintree a couple of weeks ago, but this was the Dreamtime Walk at Mossman, and it was magical. It was a spiritual experience, and if anyone can make it or can do that, I would say, yeah, it's well worth it. But before I go there, I just want to say, I know I said I was going out to the reef, but when I got there, it was so choppy and so windy, and it started raining, and I thought, no, we'll wait. There's a reason, and it's going to be really good when we go. So, yeah, but just before we get to that too, you've got the new moon tonight. I think it's tonight. New moon, so hey, if you've got anything you want to bring out of the woodwork, anything that has been covered up's coming out, okay? So, and this week coming, just try to, I did my collective tarot last night. I don't know if you saw that on here, but basically keeping your patience and having patience with others, and emotional balance. You know, don't get emotionally overwhelmed. Just try and keep a level head. And if you bring your awareness to what's going on, you know, astrologically, there's so much going on, it helps, because then you think, oh, they're not, you know, you don't sort of get it in for people as much, or yourself, you know, you get so hard on yourself. You sort of think, okay, that's what's going on. So just ride the wave this week. Yeah, so we had a wonderful time, but hey, something happened. Something happened in the rainforest, and I'll get to that in a minute. It was quite overwhelming, but it's the most beautiful place. We went through the Dreamtime Walk with Levi, who's one of the Mossman locals, and his family. I think it's the Kuku Yalanji, and I really hope I pronounced that right. I'm pretty sure I did. People of Mossman, and they had that land dating back about 4,000 years. So it's about 160. I think he said it's 160,000 kilometres, the area from Cooktown to south of Port Douglas, and yeah, he took us around, showed us some beautiful spiritual ceremonies, like the smoking ceremony, which was beautiful. Before we actually walked in, he got us all to walk through the fire from the smoke, and that was to cleanse our energies and remove any negative energies. And I thought, geez, that's such, you know, like we use smoke, I use incense to cleanse my home. We use incense to, you know, it's all about setting intention, which we did as we walked around. But it was sort of, and I thought, what other sacred places in the world that people visit, spiritual sacred places, because there's a lot of tourists go to all these places every year. What ceremonies did they do to cleanse those who are visiting before they enter that sacred space? You know, I'd be interested to know if anyone knows or has any ideas. Please put it in the comments, because I'd really love to know what other types of ceremonies people do, because that's interesting. But it's all about harnessing the elements, isn't it? You know, we cleanse through water, fire, you know, the air, the breeze, you know, when you go to the beach and you let that breeze. So yeah, but it was just beautiful. And then he would walk around, told us his story and how he got his name, and about his spiritual totem. The animals, you know, there's all the animals there, the platypus and the turtles, and the water is so beautiful. It was really running. It's usually crystal clear, but it was really moving because we'd had rain. And the cassowary is a prehistoric bird there, and he said there's actually quite a lot around there. So I get mixed stories about that. Some people say there's not many, some people say there's a lot. But yeah, I think probably my favourite part was where he painted his spiritual totem on his arm, and he used clay, zinc and charcoal to do this spiritual totem, where it showed the reef meeting the rainforest and his family and all the fruits and berries. And it was just, he said normally it would take 4 hours to do that painting that he did, but he did us the quick version. But yeah, while we were standing there, and he was standing next to this beautiful little crystal clear stream, and it was so magical. It was like, to explain, it was like time stood still, or time, I let go of it completely. We always say I let go of time, but it was like you could have been there all day and it wouldn't have felt like, and you wouldn't have been aware of the time, if that can make sense. It was just, and one of my daughters was standing next to me, and we were really, invested in it. Everything he said, we were hanging on his words. We really felt the energy in the rainforest. It felt like you were home. And I get a bit emotional thinking about it because it was just so powerful in there. And I think being guided by someone too who was so spiritually in tune with it, and he was so proud of the land and to be one with it, and his heritage and his ancestry and his grandfather and his grandparents, and he talked about it, and it just made you feel, you could feel the energy, and the spirit. So my daughter, we were standing, he just finished his painting, isn't she? She's so considerate. She waited to pass out until after he finished his painting, which is, hey, she didn't interrupt anything. And she turned to me and said, Mum, and she was fine, and this is, by the way, I'm going to say this first, because the first thing people think when it's young, she's 25, is people go, oh, she'd been drinking. Oh, she smokes. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't drink. Okay. She doesn't do any recreational drugs. She doesn't do any of that. Okay. Not that if you do, there's no, hey, whatever people want to do, but she doesn't. And she turned to me and she said, I don't feel well, Mum. And she looked white. And with that, she just went back. And because everyone, my other daughters were over the other side taking their own photos and videos of the painting ceremony and the rituals, and I was, so I grabbed hold of her as best I could and lowered her down, but her head hit a little bit and her ankle got scraped. And the point was, she'd been taken over by the rainforest. She had been having her own emotional stuff going on, but I think the rainforest, it just, and Levi, our guide Levi, he said, yeah, he was watching her, and he said she really was there with it, with everything he was saying, and with the environment. And he said he could tell the rainforest had taken her over. And it was like, even though she was laying there and I was having a bit of a freak out, I mean, this has never happened before, no one has ever passed out on me like that. So, my husband has, but hey, Michael's always hitting himself with a crowbar or something. Poor Michael. But yeah, she was, sorry, I got off track there. She was laying there, and even though I was a little bit, like, I got her onto her side, and then there's something in me that was saying the rainforest is holding her, the rainforest has got her, this has happened for a reason. And she came to, she was a bit, and I just said, I'm here, and and Levi didn't look too panicked at all. Like, he was pretty calm. I don't know if he's seen this before. Maybe, I don't know. But she came to, and she's a bit, didn't know what was going on. But there was this feeling that, and yeah, she'd become one with the rainforest, and it sort of took her over, sort of. And that was his words. And then when we got back to where we were going to have tea and damper, she was just sat there, and yeah, so there would have been shifts within her. It may take time for her to realise what they are, or, you know, but yeah, it was really a spiritual experience. And I'm not saying if you go into the rainforest on a Dreamtime Walk, you're going to faint or pass out. You know, it might affect everyone differently. For me, it was losing track of time. It's like time stood still, or time didn't exist anymore. Which sounds, you think, oh, for heaven's sake, time didn't exist. What do you mean time? You're on a tour, it's going to... But it just, for me, it felt like I could have just stayed there. I was home, you know. And yeah, I would really recommend it. And before we went into the rainforest, I did my usual spiritual activation to activate the power within us and to connect as one. So it's all about setting intention, just like the smoking ceremony, to cleanse our energies and remove negative energies. You know, that's basically setting an intention, and that sets it, you know what I mean? That's what makes it, activates it. So yeah, it was really beautiful, and a memorable experience, I'll put it to you like that. And we were meant to do it that day, with this guide Levi. I really believe we were meant to go that day, and that's why the reef didn't happen. We didn't go. So unfortunately, the reef trip's going to be a few weeks, because we're right in the middle of our Queensland school holidays have started. Excuse me. So it's going to be very, very busy, and I would like to go when it's not quite so busy. So be a few weeks before we get back to that, but still looking forward to it. And that's the best part. It's the lead up, the manifestation. It's always hey, do you like my shirt? Look, Mustang 1972. One of my daughters bought it for me. They know me well. So yeah, that's really, I just wanted to oh wow, what's going on here? Must be getting choked up about the whole rainforest experience. But yeah, if you like what I was talking about, please have a look at the video I did, because I've got the whole video of the Daintree trip. I'm confused on the Mossman. Hey, it's astrological. The Mossman Gorge Dreamtime Walk is on that video. So please watch and have a look, because you'll see him doing the painting, you'll see the smoking ceremony. You won't see Jane pass out. I'm not going to put that on there. Sorry. Hey, I'm not exactly going to stop tending to my daughter to video, and I wouldn't do that anyway. So that's not on there. But everything else is the nature, the environment, the water cascading around all the boulders. Levi's talks about his family, his name, how he got it. And it's just really, really interesting and beautiful. So if you get a chance, please watch it. Like, share, subscribe. I'd love you to. And yeah, I'll be back with some more fun things. And, you know, and I guess because we've been talking so much about creativity, that's why I was meant, because it was all about creativity and nature combined. It brought them together, you know. They're standing there painting with these natural, and we talked about the other day about creativity and how people used to paint on the walls of caves, and here is this beautiful young man painting his arm with his family history, everything on his arm in nature. So it all runs together, doesn't it? Hey, that's life. So lovely to see you, and I will catch up with you again very, very soon. I hope you have a wonderful week, and please, hey, keep balance. Remember, there's a lot going on up there, and we don't want to take it on, okay? See you next time. Love yous. Bye.